Hey, how's it going, YouTube? How's everything going? So normally, I don't do music on this channel. I don't think I did like a couple albums. Um, but yeah, I think I did the last two Gorillaz albums that came out, and then I did Eminem's Revival. So I don't really do too much music on here. That's not the main focus of this channel. But I felt like I had to talk about something in particular, and this is a pretty heavily anticipated album in the hip hop community that I kind of wanted to talk about, share my opinions on, and answer the question of did it actually live up to the height of the previous album. And if you guys know what I'm talking about, or you read the description, or you didn't, you just rushed in, I am talking about the new album from Freddie Gibbs, Freddie Gibbs and Madlib, titled Bandana. Um, and just to give you guys a little backstory on this, I just want to let you know if y'all haven't caught it before in any of my other videos, I am a huge hip hop head. I love hip hop music to death. I grew up on hip hop music. Um, and I think the first time I heard these guys, just to give you some backstory, um, I heard about I kind of heard about Madlib. Well, I knew about Madlib, and I didn't really know much about Freddie Gibbs until Pinata came out. That's the first time I ever even heard of Freddie Gibbs. Um, so I didn't know he was with like Young Jeezy, and he basically left and became an independent artist until like later. But I listened to a lot of Madlib. From when he was in the Stones Throw umbrella. I don't know if he's still in Stones Throw or not. He might just be freelance now. But I remember when I first heard him. Yeah, that's how I heard it. It was they always had songs on the Tony Hawk games back in the day. And then the first song I heard was Luke Pack's "When I'm on the Mic," and I was like, "Oh my god, this song is nice." Um, and then I think I heard Tony Hawk's Underground had "Low Class Conspiracy" by Quasimodo, so I really wanted to check out their albums because I was like, everything I was hearing out that camp sounded amazing. Um, so yeah, that's when I went when that's when right after YouTube was invented, I just searched all their catalog, just looked through everything, the entire Quasimodo albums, and pretty much anything Stones Throw had. Because, little fun fact, Madlib wasn't going to put out the first Quasimodo album. Peanut Butter Wolf had to force him to put it out. Because Madlib was like, nah, I was a little high, and I was messing around, and I happened to get a hold of my grandma's records in her attic, and or her closet or whatever, and I was just messing around. I didn't intend to make a good album, and once the album was released, it became one of the most critically acclaimed albums in the underground circuit. Like it's to this day, 20 years later, because the album came out in 2000. So, almost 20 years later, this album is still respected as like one of the best albums in the underground. So, yeah, and to give you more backstory, well, not backstory so much, but recommendations. If you guys never heard anyone who's watching this video who's never heard anything from Madlib other than Pinata or this album, I suggest you definitely go back, listen to yesterday's new quintet, listen to Shades of Blue. Um, yeah, where he took a bunch of jazz samples and made beats. Like I said, I've dug through this dude's entire library. Like I've loved so much music from this dude. He put out 3 Quasimodo albums too. If you want to check those out, all 3 of those are amazing. Some of my favorite albums, just the beats. And Quasimodo, of course, a lot of y'all know. It took me, I was late to the party, so I found out he was actually Madlib. Um, that was 10 years ago. I found that out, so I already knew. But I didn't know Quasimodo and Madlib. And back in 2008, I didn't know Quasimodo and Madlib were the same person. Um, so that was kind of nice. Yeah, man. Check out the Stones Throw, and also check out the Stones Throw collections. Uh, Check out MED's album back in 2006. I can't remember the name of it, but Madlib and Jay Dilla produced that entire album. And then also check out J Lib. That's Jay Dilla and Madlib. They both put an album together where they both produced it and they both rapped over their the beats. That album's amazing too. Um, that album was hard to handle. It was so good. So, I mean, you know, when you got Jay Dilla and Madlib on an album together, there's no competing with that. Like some of the most lyrical rappers could put out an album, and if it doesn't sound anywhere as near as good, it's not beating that album. I'm sorry, it's just not. Um, and then Mad Villainy. That was all produced by Madlib too as well. So I mean, there's a lot of music from Madlib. Like he has a ton of albums out there. The Beat Conductor in India. Um, I really like his lo-fi sound. Because I know when Blue tried to do it on that Good to Be Home album, which I still listen to that album, but you could tell like the lo-fi in there is kind of crap. It doesn't sound good, and Madlib knows how to make it lo-fi, but still you can hear everything. You can hear the beats. You can still hear the rapper. Um, I mean, they're kind of riding the wave of drowning each other out sometimes, but you could still make out what's going on the track. The versus that Blue album, which some of those tracks sounded like hot garbage. But my thing is, so getting to this album, I know I was getting off a little tangent there, but so did I like this album? Did this album meet expectations? And I will say yes, it did. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this album's amazing, man. Um it's up there with Pinata, man. Like this album delivered in every track. If I can I'll get my Spotify over here, man, and pull out the track list because I got to go down the track list. Um, because this album, man, I don't think I've heard a better album this year. Like this is, I mean, and I thought the new Blue and Oh No album was pretty good, but man, whew, okay. I'm trying to process how good this album is. Like this is amazing. This is really good. Like when I initially heard it, um, I mean, I guess it just dropped yesterday. So like I figured like I wasn't really sure how it was gonna be. The first single I only heard one single off of it, and the single was Flat Tummy Tea. That was the original single. And when I first heard Flat Tummy Tea, I wasn't impressed. So I was like, okay, well, this isn't going to be that good of an album. I was like, I mean, well, I was like, well, maybe it's not going to be as good as Pinata, but I still can't judge, you know, like the album's still not out yet. Um, so we got the intro, Obrigado, um, where it has a Asian dude pretty much like introducing Madlib and uh, Madlib and Freddie Gibbs, and then it goes into freestyle shit where Freddie Gibbs is basically talking about uh, how he basically came into the rap game. Um, Basically, he had a line. He has some pretty nice lines in here too that I did like, where he said he had a line where he was like I'm basically if music thing don't move, I'm going to be moving things. Talking about if his music flops, he basically went independent and he risked it. And he said, if this music thing flops, and I'm gonna be back on the street, moving, basically pushing drugs, moving them things, pushing drugs. So I thought that was pretty dope. And then he had a lot of good storytelling in that one, man. And Freddie Gibbs does not slack on this, man. Like lyrically, he switches his flow on this album so many times. Like he had like at least like 10 different flows throughout this whole album. It was crazy. I was like, wow, man. This is why Freddie Gibbs has become one of my favorite rappers now. Uh, yeah, half main, half cocaine, which was pretty fire. Um, I can't remember. It was one. It was pretty messed up bar, but it was pretty crazy. But he said something like, I can't remember what song it was on too, but he said something like, there were so many lines in this, man. It was so many good lines. He was like, pull out the nickel plate and um, something, shoot somebody in a certain body part, and now you got a permanent shit bag or something like that. Talking about hitting someone in a certain organ or whatever to where they need a philosophy bag. So that was nice. Uh, yeah, man. He like I said, he has so many like it was just like that grittiness that Freddie Gibbs is going to give you. So I've heard his last few albums, and my favorite ones out of his whole discography though was Pinata, Shadow of a Doubt, and this one. So yeah, Gibbs, like when Gibbs raps, man, he brings it. Um, and I like Fetty too. Fetty was pretty straight. I didn't really care for Currency on there, but Alchemist and Freddie Gibbs definitely picked up the slack on that album. So got those. Those are my favorites. I like. So yeah, you got Half Man, Half Cocaine, Crime Pays. So Crime Pays is probably one of my favorite songs on here. I like that beat that Madlib did. Um, let's see, yeah. So like it was just like just really smooth, like soulful beat, and high end with soulful beats. That's why I like producers like Madlib and Ninth Wonder are really like my favorite producers because they bring that old school feel to their beats. And Crime Pays was smooth, man. Like there was no drums or anything, but it was just how smooth the beat was and the way Freddie Gibbs wrote it, man. And he was spitting on that too. He was spitting, just Sylvester the cat just spitting all over it. Um, yeah, the freaking Thuff cat just spitting all over it, nasty. And then you get to and then Massage Seats. Uh, uh, I don't remember all the lyrics. I'm sorry, so I'm gonna have to probably go back over this again. I heard the album like 4 times already. Amazing album too, by the way. Just I don't think there's a bad song on here. I'm just gonna get this out the way now. I don't think there's a bad track on this entire album. It's just flawless, man. This might literally be one of the best albums of 2019 already, and we're only halfway through 2019. So let's see here. So yeah, Massage Seats. I think that was the one where it started out with like the trap beat, that really banging trap beat, and then Madlib basically switches up the beat halfway through, and like it has somebody come in and go like, shut that fucking noise off, and then suddenly like it goes into like this really crazy, this really weird, crazy kind of distorted beat that still was banging though. Like it still had your head now like, oh wow. I was listening to this at work and I was just like, okay, I'm liking this. Man, okay. Here's another favorite, man. Paul Olive with Pusha T, Killer Mike. Oh my god, that amazing, like pure amazing. Like that was that was pure euphoria right there. That track, wow, man. Like Paul Olive blew me away, and everybody's verse on here was nice. Killer Mike didn't really have a verse, but the hook he was saying, I was like, that hook, just that hook was amazing. Like, I didn't even have a problem with him just doing a hook. That was amazing. Fake Names was pretty good. Because yeah, that I think that was the one where I'm sorry, I don't remember these lyrics. I was paying attention closer to some of the lyrics and stuff. The album's still kind of new, so I didn't really focus on the lyrics too much. I did catch some bars out of here that just really stood out. I was like, wow. Um, so yeah, Fake Names was pretty good. There's Flat Tummy Tea. Um, Again, this is just him just being gritty and grimy. Um, he had a line there where he said, "I'll sit inside your bitch's stomach like flat tummy tea." Um, a little messed up, but it's a crazy bar, really crazy. And then Madlib, the beat threw me off at first because this whole album does not sound like Pinata at all. It doesn't. I'm just gonna like no like this sounds way different from Pinata. You go to Pinata and you go to this album, they sound completely different from each other. Like he definitely went for a more jazzy, soulful sound that Madlib normally does. But it's just, but as Madlib usually does too, he always gets experimental with his stuff. And Flat Tummy Tea was like a huge experimental like beat, and I think it worked after a few listens. So, so cool. Situations was nice. Giannis featuring Anderson Paak, and Anderson Paak murdered that track. Like he killed that. Him and Freddie Gibbs killed that. That was so good. You got Practice, which is nice. Cataracts, which is pretty good. Uh, Damn, Goddamn. I like Goddamn. That was a cool song too. Education with Yasin Bey and Black Thought. Yasin Bey, aka one of my favorite rappers in history, Mos Def. I love Mos Def. Mos Def is my dude. I was extremely excited to hear him on this album. Please, Yasin Bey, aka Mos Def, please, please tell me this is you getting back into the rap game, man. Please tell me this is you coming out with another album. I need a Black Thought, or I need a Black Star album. I need a Black on Both Sides too. I need something from you right now, man. So I mean, cause his verse in here was crazy. His verse was nuts. Like the stuff he was saying, like I don't even remember what he was saying off the bat, but I just know I was mesmerized by what he was saying. I was like, man, this is sick what he's talking about. And then of course Black Thought. Come on, really? Like, do I have to tell you how good Black Thought is at this point? If y'all haven't heard any of the streams of thought volumes 1 or 2, like you're missing out on a piece of life. That's all I'm telling you, because those albums were insane. So, and then they ended really good with Soul Right. Again, really nice beat from Madlib, and then just really good rapping from Freddie Gibbs, man. Some really vivid stories in this. He's talking about, of course, Freddie Gibbs is talking about his normal stuff, grimy, street stuff, drug dealing. Of course, he's giving you a little backstory at the same time. He's telling you, like, in these songs, like, if his rap didn't take off, if his music didn't take off, he would be back in the streets. So yeah, man, I pretty much went over his whole album. I want to do what shout out to Dead End Hip Hop and Granddad Wooly. I'm going to do the same thing y'all did. I'm going to take your format a little bit. I'm going to pick up my 5 favorite tracks on this, although it was hard because I can go back and listen to this entire album again from front to back. This is a flawless album. There was no lag, there was no lull, there were no points where I was like, man, this is boring. I didn't tune anything out. Like everything on here was amazing, man. So my 5 favorite tracks, because I think it's, how many tracks is on here? I'm not counting the intro track, but So 14 tracks. Um, and yeah, 14 tracks, 46 minutes long. It's a nice sized album. Excuse me. So my five favorite tracks on here is Freestyle Shit, Half Main, Half Cocaine, Crime Pays, Palm Olive, and I will say, so man, this is hard. Okay, Education. Um, Education, because it had that. Yeah, I remember Education had that. It had that same sample that they used on that Nas beat on the Nasir album, Bonjour, which is one of my favorite songs on the track, mainly because Nas's rapping was a little off on there, but I really did like that beat. Um, I did like that beat and that sample that Kanye used, and then they used it on here again for Education. That same sample, because I know I was listening to it and I was like, I'm like, man, I heard the sample before. Like the beat is a little different, it's chopped up a little different, but I was like, I heard the sample before though, and that's I saw somebody had posted it. Or no, nobody posted. I just picked it up after. I was like, oh no, that's a sample from Bonjour from that Nas album. Excuse me. So yeah, man. This album, wow, oh man, like this album was worth the wait, man. I think This is gonna easily be in my heavy rotation. Uh, Again, not a bad song on here. Not a low ever. There was a couple funny skits on here that Madlib mixed in. I thought was hilarious. Um, um, one that was kind of dark a little bit about. There's a skit in there about this guy. That's what I remember. It was this guy who they said this guy came in and he shot his wife and his best friend, I guess, because they were cheating with each other on him, and and something about you lucky you didn't walk in on you walked in on Thursday, you lucky you didn't come in on Friday. It's something like that. So I thought that was pretty. I thought it was kind of. It had a nice little dark sense of humor to it. Um, but yeah, yeah, man, like this album has a theme to it. Um, like you can tell they spent 5 years working on this, man. Like everything complements each other. Freddie Gibbs flows complement Madlib's beats, and that's weird because like even from Pinata, like when you hear Madlib and Freddie Gibbs doing an album, and knowing their styles, you would never think that because Madlib has more of like a laid back, like eclectic style sort of, and then Freddie Gibbs has like these hard, like gritty, like in your face street bars, but they work, you know. Pinata became like one of my favorite albums of the decade, like of the 2010s, hands down. Like Pinata was amazing. So I didn't know how they were going to top it when I heard Bandana was coming out, but in a sense I still couldn't wait. Like I was excited. I was like, man, Pinata's or Bandana's coming out. They're making a sequel to Pinata. And they did, man. They did it. I think it's on par with Pinata. If not, I'll even come out and say it. This might be slightly better, man. Like because like this and Pinata, I don't have a least favorite track on either one of those albums. All like these, just like the first two Little Brother albums, I could probably listen to Pinata and this straight through without skipping a song. Like that's how classic these are. And I hate to throw out the word classic because everybody wants to throw out the word classic, but this might be it, man. This might be the best album of 2019. I don't think I've heard an album this good and this how can I put it? This like I guess consistent is consistent the word I'm looking for. But either way, man, this is an amazing album. Freddie Gibbs and Madlib, Bandana, guys. Go check this one out. Seriously. Um, I've seen a few people say this album was underwhelming. I even think people said that the album was kind of slow at parts, and I don't understand how this album. I didn't even realize the album was over, because I was writing, I was just listening to this, and then by the time I realized, I looked down, I was on the last track. Like, that's how good this album is. Like, the the little bit of, there aren't very many features in here, but the little bit of features that are in here, they're amazing, man. Some really good features in this. Yeah, man, definitely check this one out. This album. Yeah, yeah. That's why I say, man. Yeah, there's no other words for this album. It's just that great. But yeah. So if you want to, definitely comment, subscribe. Tell me down in the comments which Freddie Gibbs album did you like, which Madlib album did you like the best. If you've listened to Madlib's discography or Freddie Gibbs' discography. And I will see you on the next video. And thanks for listening to this.